When the downtown lights start to come out at night, we go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind. I go insane, I go insane. Cause they told me you take too much. Yeah, I sure do, so I can feel that now. If they only knew how this was, yeah, they would too, just to feel that now. Cause I ain't got no friends, I ain't got nobody. All I got ahead is a moonlit road. Friends, I ain't got nobody. All I got ahead is a moonlit road. When the downtown lights start to come out at night, we go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind. I go insane, I go insane. Cause they told me.
Hey everybody, welcome to a live feed. You made it! I'm so happy. Thank you for making it. I'm so glad you did, honestly. It's awesome. Hello, welcome to the show. This is early live morning barking right now. Called it early live morning barking, didn't I? That's not what it is. It's live early morning barking, which amounts to the same thing, but there you go. I am baking in here right now. There may become a fan in a bit. I'm so gonna turn the fan up. Right, just so I know, so I don't get my hopes up. This is what we're gonna have to live with. It doesn't seem too bad, does it? Are you okay with that? You're okay with that. Hello everyone in the chat room. Hello Ollie. Hello AG. Hello Nunya. Hello Todson. It's good to see you all. I hope you all had a good day and a good weekend and a good week, in fact, since we've last done this, isn't it? Phone's kicking up a stink. So yeah, it's good. So here we are to talk some BPD and NPD. And this is the bit of the show where I wish there was like news to talk about, but you know, if any of you, right, there we go. And this is how good my audience are. Please, can you wish me luck, Rich? I have a job interview in a few hours. I absolutely can. Good luck, Tosson. What is it for? Tell me more about this job. And I wish I had a thing that could put it big on the screen, but it's there little on the screen. Good luck. Tell me everything about the job. I hope you get it. I'm told jobs are awesome. I do this, which is a different thing. It's not really a job. And hello, MP2468. You have BPD. All right, a call center customer service job. Well, good luck. Good luck. I hope you get it. I have every faith in you that you can do this. And hello, welcome to the live stream as well, UK based with BPD and probably ADHD. I'm looking forward to being diagnosed myself. That will be fun. Or not, as the case may be. I'm so ADHD there with you though. Don't worry about that. That is definitely a thing. And then we can make lots of ADHD content. But all things aside, I've not really been making a lot of BPD content or MP. I've not really made content, have I? That's where I'm failing in my job as a content creator. It's really the one thing you have to do, really, is create content. I have created content though. It's just I like lives. I like this. I like talking to you guys. It's much more fun this way. Oh, hang on. It's just showing me subscribers on the chat. There we go. That's no good. Someone try with the talking and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, as I was saying, I wish there was kind of like news for this subject, right? I used to do a lot of tech stuff. There's tech news. I used to do a lot of movie stuff. There's movie news. And it's a good way to sort of start off a live stream. We'll go over the news of the day. Is there any mental health news? I don't I don't know of any. I guess I could be reading the research or stuff like I don't care enough. This is ultimately my problem. My experience is entirely my own. And I'm just not interested in what's going on in the bigger picture, which is probably a failing on my part. Absolutely a bigger failing on my part. There you go. Let's see what we're saying. Oh, Coolest Rob is here. Hello. Hello, Coolest Rob. You've had a mental health battle for over 20 years, only diagnosed with BPD 3 years ago. I've been, gosh, we all have a similar story, you know. I waited about 20 years for BPD. Until then it was just depression. I was depressed, which is, you know, utter bollocks, really. I wasn't, well, I was down, but I had NPD. You're going to know what I'm talking about, aren't you? And then you get that diagnosis and it's, oh, finally something's going to fucking happen. And that's when stuff started happening. An MP2468, you feel very validated and less alone. That's awesome. You are so not alone with this. So not alone with this. It's crazy, right? There's so many of us and we've all got similar stories. And it's, yeah. The more you hang around, the more you're going to notice it. And so you are so not alone. My first time in group therapy, I was just hearing all the sad, diabolical stories of life that people had. I was absolutely ecstatic because finally I wasn't on my own. And I wasn't happy that they were unhappy. I was happy that we were unhappy in the same ways, if that makes sense. Um, you know? But good luck. Good luck with getting better. You can do this. Hello, Spodo Komodo. I like that username. I like that very much. That is a good Father Ted reference. You quit weed 2 weeks ago and it's helped your anxiety immeasurably. I have given up on the giving up, but I'm sort of coming back round. You know, when the giving up plane landed at the airport and kind of did the, oh no, we've got to take off again. It's not flown away. It's still just circling and it's coming back around. Yeah. I I grow increasingly unhappy with the effects of it, and especially the effects of it on my day to day and how I'm feeling, mood, energy levels, all of this. I am really falling out of love with it, bit by bit, and I would like to get rid of it altogether, and I would really like the money more so than anything. That's what it's all about. I would really like the money. Um, because look, I like buying things. Right? I have BPD, and people with BPD like buying things. And you need money to do that, unfortunately. And I have very little because, as I say, I do this. Right? I'm reliant on you guys and super chats and that sort of thing. Um, you know, but I, spending money is quite satisfying, to say the least, but not on weed because it's something I don't want. It feels like a chore. It feels like a bill. It feels like a pain now. Um, I know there's no prescriptions, unfortunately. I'm on the side that there should be, but and I'm up for complete legality of all of it, to be perfectly honest with you. But no, there isn't at the moment. It's weird how such a big diagnosis can make you feel so much happier finally having recognized it and labeled, but crazy how, yeah. I found the BPD NPD diagnosis comforting because then you can fix it. And it showed that enough people were paying attention and that something was happening, which for me had been part of the pain of it all from the start was, because you're spending 20 years trying to get diagnosed with something other than depression because you don't have depression for 20 years any more than you have a headache for 20 years. And so you face this uphill battle and struggle. What, you can get a medical card in the UK for weed, but you have to pay for prescriptions. Wow, I had no idea. We don't have medical marijuana here, do we? Hi, DC. Do we? Do we? Surely not. I'm Googling. Oh, hang on. Is medical cannabis legal in the UK? Yes, according to 7 sources. Only doctors specializing in medical cannabis can prescribe cannabis-based products for medicinal use. So, like, my GP probably can't. So it's through a private clinic. Right, okay. Part of me wants that. I bet you get the good stuff. But, no, I kind of want rid of it. I don't like... Feel heavy all the time. Feeling tired, feeling low energy. Feeling stoned, essentially, is all I'm describing. And I'm kind of sick of it. And I'm sick of the hold it has over me. And what it's stopping me doing and all the stuff I want to do that I'm not doing because of it. I am desperate to start getting stuff done. Right? The Sapphire Clinic prescribes for BPD. In London? I will accept your cookies. The UK's first medical cannabis thing. Okay. Create an account, book an appointment. A multidisciplinary team of doctors and pharmacists will assess whether medical cannabis is appropriate for you. If approved, your prescription will be sent to your nominated pharmacy, who will contact you to arrange payment and delivery straight to your door. I'm assuming my local pharmacy will probably not have much medical marijuana in stock. But this is interesting. And how much does this cost? Coolest Rob, I can see your message. I'll come back to that. Yeah, so how much, because there's no information on here about potential cost for patient, or is there? Pricing? Yeah, there is. There's only a menu option for it. Okay. £50 seems to be their key phrase here. £50 initial consultation, £50 consultation follow-up, £50 quarterly checkup. Oh, right, okay. This is not cheap. Yeah, 135 a month. I mean, look, you can get the dried flour and oils at £267 a month. Do you know what, though? Do you know what? That's probably less than I spend on weed. It's probably less than I spend on weed, that. So, oh, hang on, but that's right. So there's the access scheme. Patients are invited to join the Sapphire Access Scheme and contribute their data to the UK Medical Cannabis Registry. This invaluable data allows us to grow the evidence base for medical cannabis prescribing in the UK. These prices reflect the discounted appointment costs for a patient enrolled on the Access Scheme. So if I let them, like, give them my data, it's cheaper. Well, okay. I wonder if I'd be able to do that. Because, BPD, ADHD, all that, I don't know. But while that is a lot of money, it's still less than actual weed. Check if you're eligible. I am very curious about that. I must admit, I am very curious about this now. We might have to be looking into that at some point and see what comes out of it. Because that's less than I'd spend on actual weed. So we'll see. Okay then, cool. It's Rob. You had a question, and I said I'd come back to it. So, yeah. I've got back together with ex that is love of my life, but find it so hard not to be obsessive and insecure and worried. I get jealous over even her friends, and I know it's my BPD. Okay. Couple of things, right? So it seems that these are fears. Obsession, insecurities, worry, jealousy. These are fears. And under what circumstances did you break up? Because a lot of these fears, these sorts of things come out in relationships that have had breakups anyway. The fact that you've got BPDs is going to make these things worse. Okay? And depending on how you broke up, if you had some sort of infidelity or breach of trust or something like that, which I think is just the end of a relationship anyway, whatever. You've got a lot piled into this. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Let's take it a bit at a time. You've got back together with your ex, okay? Like I say, in what way did you break up? That's important because it can affect a relationship so much. In that situation, you're gonna have some insecurities and that sort of thing. It's very difficult. Then the fact that they're the love of your life, right? That is too much pressure. That is too much importance. That is too much, right? They are someone that you love a lot. But you are putting all of this pressure, all of this weight on this thing that they're the love of your life. Like there's one person and it's this person and they are all and anything you've ever wanted. And you are idealizing this person and looking at just upping their significance through the roof. Which is, on one hand, it comes out as being sweet, but it's not. Right? It's not that you're doing anything overtly bad, but you look at all the pressure you're putting on that relationship. And you're getting obsessed and insecure and worried. Because you're wanting it to be perfect. This love of your life, this magical Disney princess of a person. Which no one is. No one is whatsoever. And so it worries me when I see stuff like that, because it all seems so weighty, so serious, and so much pressure. And I mean, go and watch my romantic obsession video. Um, it's like the most popular video I've ever made, and I think that's for a reason, right? We get caught up in these romantic obsessions. Now, I'm not telling you to break up with her. I'm not saying you shouldn't be with her or anything like that at all. But she has to be somebody that you want rather than need. Okay? If you need her, that's too much. You shouldn't need somebody in that sense, right? She shouldn't be relied upon to maintain your health and well-being, right? That should all come from you. Being with a person should enhance who you are and your life and that sort of thing, not be the be all and end all of it. And when you get in that state, when you put all that pressure on them, of course you're obsessive and worried. Of course, because your entire life hinges on this thing, right? And so you can just put on so much pressure and jealousy and all of this, and you know you're doing it. But you're still doing it, and you need to dial it back. And when you're talking about getting jealous about her seeing her friends, right, you see, there you go. Let's, hang on, I need a chat to update. The chat on the screen has updated quicker than the chat in my window. She split up with me to get back with her ex, who was a narcissist and had hold of her, and she was unsure over trusting me. She knows she definitely wants a future with me, but is insecure. What if you fuck up? You see, there you go. You're getting into a relationship with someone who has breached that trust, with someone who has left you for somebody else already. And you're thinking, well, if they've done it once, they could do it again. And I would say, yeah, if they've done it once, they could do it again. Right? Without BPD and NPD, without cluster B, getting back together with someone who left you is nigh on an impossibility. Right? Especially when they've not just, like, it's not like they couldn't cope with something or something didn't, like they've found somebody else, a specific other person. Of course you're insecure. Of course you have no reason to feel secure. So you've decided this person who has left you for someone else already is the most important person in your life. How can you not be obsessed or worried about that? The key is that you need to, well, I don't know. She's great with your son and feel you're a better man with her and left wife in past to be with her. Oh, so you left your wife to be with her too. It's a complicated situation, and I mean that's one that I wouldn't be able to deal with. But when you talk about you're scared if what if you fuck it up? What are you scared about? In what way do you think you're gonna fuck it up? Because that's, you know, that's an important thing here. What do you think you're gonna do? And the question I have for you in return is, whatever you're about to tell me you think you're gonna do, if you know that, why are you gonna do it? And there's another video on self-fulfilling prophecies, right? If you've decided, well, these things are going to happen, and I'm going to react in a way that fucks it up, or I might, then you're definitely going to you're setting yourself up to fail. You're getting doomed from the offset. Um, and you're sort of just like setting yourself up to fail. But to be honest, the whole thing sounds a bit crazy. To be honest, and these sorts of things are difficult to feel secure in. This is ultimately the problem. These things are difficult to feel secure with. Let's see. How's the chat? Is the chat working? The chat's working. Do I think there are many similarities with BPD and AV? Oh, hang on. A neighbor was a work colleague previously I worked with for 40 hours each week, and she felt I said too much to her, even though I didn't. So she... Look, do you see how you have... This is just a relationship that is built on betrayals of trust and pressure. This all sounds very bad, dude. Um... MP2468, that's kind of out of the blue. What were you... Sorry, I'm just catching up with chat. Um... Yeah, look, if you're being accused of things that you aren't doing, if there's so much... There are such things as breaches of trust in a relationship. And to get over a breach of trust is one of the most difficult things you can ever do. I don't know if you can ever really do it. Right? I don't... it's not something I would attempt to get over in an old relationship. Because you just don't know, and you've forever got that doubt in your mind. But like I say, I'm not telling you to end this or anything like that, but you've got an uphill struggle here. And all of this stuff is why you feel insecure and worried about it all. And there's no amount of advice from me that can make that relationship secure. That's something you need to do, and I don't know how to suggest that you do that. You know. So that's the thing. So yeah. Do I think there are any similarities between AVPD? Probably yes. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the one that it sort of... This is a cluster C personality disorder, which is a total, they're not us, but you can see them from where we live. That kind of thing. Avoidant personality disorder, pervasive feelings of social inhibition and inadequacy, extreme sensitivity to negative evaluation. This is something that it sounds like that. It actually sounds a lot more closely related to, in some way, NPD, with the sensitivity to criticism, fear of intimacy, social anxiety, all of this sort of thing. That's very NPD stuff. And it's going to come out in different ways. It's going to be caused by different things. You know, it's going to be, it's a much more complicated thing from what I'm looking at actually here. Me falling down on this is where I'm not the expert, to be perfectly honest, so it's a difficult question to answer, but it does seem much more NPD than BPD. Oh, here we go. Earlier theorists proposed a personality disorder with a combination of features from borderline personality disorder and avoidant personality disorder called avoidant borderline mixed personality. Okay. And we have subtypes. I need to make a video about BPD subtypes as well. Because it's all bullshit. Here we go. Some research studies have found that BPD can be treated as a unified diagnostic entity without the presence of clear subtypes, but other studies have identified some subtypes of BPD. One study which examined types of BPD, borderline personalities based on patterns of co-occurring personality problems, identified 3 subtypes of BPD that map onto the 3 clusters of personality disorders. Right, okay. What? Oh, based on patterns of co-occurring personality problems. Identify 3 subtypes of BPD that map onto the 3 clusters of personality disorders. Right, cluster A, cluster B, and cluster. Those in cluster A subgroup tended to engage in more paranoid thinking and eccentric behavior. Those in B tended to have more dramatic or arrogant personalities, and those in C tended to be more fearful. Another study that examined BPD subtypes in adolescent boys and girls with BPD found reliable subtypes in girls, but not boys. Girls with BPD tended to fall into one of the following categories: high-functioning, internalizing, depressive internalizing, histrionic, and angry externalizing. Did somebody do a super chat? My lights went green. MP2468, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. It changes the color of my lights when people do super chats. Did you all know? So yeah, I'm still stuck on the the BPD subtypes being a load of bollocks, and I don't think it has any advantage to try and subtype it. Is what I would say. Ah, see, right, okay, sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat now. You couldn't control emotions. It all felt very intense and attractive at the time. While you seek diagnosis, can't seem to control your emotions. I have a similar thing. I mean, the emotional stability comes with there are sort of ADHD and BPD issues there as well, and I struggle with the emotional stability of it all. I'll be honest, and I think that mine becomes. I feel I've talked about it a little bit before, but I've never made a big video about it because I don't know what to think about it yet. But I feel like the emotional instability of BPD comes in waves, and they're quite long. But they're not as long as bipolar waves, which are even longer. And so there are these ups and downs and long waves. And I feel like the ADHD emotional instability is far shorter and quicker and much more aggressive and sharper in some sort of way. I know that sounds a ridiculous adjective to use, but there's that element of it. And it's like, this is the stuff that gets me minute to minute. The BPD stuff feels like a much longer process that is much more drawn out. That's the blankets of sadness and that sort of thing. That last for a few hours to a few days. Whereas the ADHD one, it feels like this is minute to minute. Right? This is that song is playing, I'm sad. I'm recounting this story, I'm happy. And it's to an extreme of emotion. Right? With the blanket of sadness BPD stuff, there's not a it makes me quiet, makes me very insular, and there's not much expression of anything. Whereas with the other one, it feels like there's crying and it's immediate. There is an abundance of emotion that has nowhere to go. And it is mainly, it feels like it's more negative than a positive thing, but it can go either way. You know, there is positive instability as well that brings with it that just great excitement and joy, but also the crying as well, which is just becoming worse and worse. It feels like I'm sort of really sick of living like it. So the emotional instability for it is it's a fucker. It really is. Is the chat still on, or are you guys quiet? Because I feel like you're all a bit quiet. So yeah, I'm glad you feel less alone tonight, MP. That's cool. I think this is what we're here for, right, everybody? I think so. You are not alone in this. None of us are alone in this. At all. It just feels like it sometimes, I think. Which is no good. But, oh, pardon me. But that's why we do this, right? Yeah, you are quiet. You're quiet, bless you. I know there's a slight delay. It's only a tiny delay. But no, you quiet. You're quiet. I do want. There can't be that much of a big delay. Hang on. Because that's a setting. Live reactions. There's no message delay. Reddit trailer. Sorry, I'm just checking I've got it set up right. I believe I have. Believe I have. Oh, no, I'm just pressing wrong things. Yeah, I don't know how big the delay is, but it's fine. It's fine. Is there anything else you'd like to... You know, what? It's a minute. Like a minute delay? That's a huge delay. That's an absolutely enormous delay, which I'm not happy about. I feel like there should be a thing I can push or something like that. Missions channel upload. Nope. Welcome to the channel, Nathan. Yeah, YouTube, eh? You can't, you know. I can't, if I reset the connection, then everything will go to shit. Don't worry. It might be because I'm coming through, what is it? Stream Deck. Streamlabs thing. because I'm multi-streaming here. I think I'm also live on Facebook right now. I never go and look. Oh, I shouldn't have logged onto Facebook. There's my Barkley dog. 10 years ago was that. Oh. Anyway, got distracted. What did I come here for? My page. Yeah, I don't know if I'm live on there right now. Oh, I am. There I am. It's even playing me with subtitles. And it just said it's playing me with subtitles. Stop subtitling me. I'm just going to get caught up in that battle and argument with myself. It's all okay. Don't worry. Am I live on Twitter as well then? Not that anyone cares. I will jump back into BPD, NPD stuff if you guys have any questions. Rob asking, does it bother me a lot when people use the term EUPD? I don't care. It's another name for the same thing. I don't care what people call it. Honestly, it's the thing that offends me more with BPD related stuff from other people is when they get stuff wrong and insist that they're right about stuff. That's what bugs me. That's what does my head in more than anything. I can live with them saying EUPD. And look, emotionally unstable personality disorder. It's not like it's crazy wrong, is it? It says, you know? So I don't know what to tell you. I can't get that upset about it, really. So yeah. Hey, have any of you tried Threads yet? Because I'm not on Threads. Because I don't like all the stuff that they've got from you when they sign up your app. And it's all a bit much. And so I'm sort of waiting to see what happens with it. Before I go on it, because I really don't want to go on it. And the only thing that's actually making me think about going on Threads at all is the fact that I've got way more Instagram followers than I have Twitter followers. That's it. And if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be considering it in the slightest. But are you guys on it? Can I do it from the web? Do I have to be on my phone? Yeah, because they want all the data, don't they? They want all the health data and the browser history. For some reason, I just don't want to do it. It's so egregious. Yeah, you just got TikTok and you're not even using that. I still like TikTok. I'm still on board with TikTok, even though I've not made a video on there for ages. I go live on there most days, to be perfectly honest, with TikTok. Yeah, there's about a minute delay here, isn't there? I don't know, that's weird. Try restarting your life, because there's about 15 seconds delay on Facebook. Or is there? There was when it started. I think it pauses it when you go off the window. Yeah, okay. And that's it. It's just said it pauses when you go off the window. So it's about, what, 15 seconds, if that? So I think if you try restarting your YouTube page, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so I Do I want to go on to think, what do I have on my Instagram? 478 followers compared to Twitter with, I think it's 100 and something. I'll go to my profile. 213 followers. So I've got roughly, you know, twice as many Instagram followers. I'm not trying to be a thing on Instagram or Twitter. I just need some way of telling you guys what I'm up to. That's all I need. I need a place to post I'm live now, or I'm going to be live at 9 o'clock. And that sort of thing. I don't need another fucking social network. Certainly not for personal use either. I just have no need for it whatsoever. And I'm certainly not trying to be big on Facebook, because it's really difficult, because they don't want you to be big on Facebook without paying them money. So with that in mind, I just don't try. Anyway. But TikTok I like. I grew weary with it because it clearly wanted me to just post videos about all the maudling, miserable shit. That's what seems to do well for people. And I'm not that interested in doing that, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not that up for that as a creator. I'm much more interested in recovery and support than I am in just like sitting modeling in it. We do that with BPD so much. We just sit there and we go, oh, I feel bad. And yeah, we do, but you've got to do something about it. You've got to have that spark. And to be fair, I think a lot of us have. I certainly think people who watch my channel have. Right? I think you guys have, because you're doing something about it. Right? You're doing something about your BPD, NPD. You're at least watching videos. And you don't understand how many people do fuck all. Right? Honestly. You guys are so impressive, honestly. Good evening, Vicky V. How are you doing? You're all old and only do YouTube. That's fine. I mean, I want to get stuff out on here. I should make more use of the communities tab. I'm pretty sure I say that every week, don't I? Something like that. You've got alerts turned on, though. If you turn on alerts, that's fine, too. Hi, Owen. Do you mind explaining, do people suffering NPD need to uphold a perfect image of themselves? And what happens when they can't uphold that image or it gets shown through? Thanks. We try to uphold a perfect image of ourselves, or what we deem to be that perfect image. We're projecting what we want to project. Whether that's perfection or whatever, I don't know. But you know, whatever the individual narcissist wants to project. When that is shown through, when we're called on our bullshit, there's generally total collapse there. Right? That's when you'll get your rage, your tantrums possibly, but also it just destroys us. It breaks us inside. Because that illusion that we project to the world is just as much for us. Okay? We're taking on a role. And yeah, we're playing it for you, but we're playing it for us as well. That's the important thing. We're trying to kid ourselves that we are the person we want to be. And so we make shit up. And we lie. And we become grandiose. And we project this false image to the world. And so when that's broken, we are broken with it. You see? It's and the way we break down depends on us as an individual, right? I will break down differently to somebody else, and it depends, of course, how much we've got tied up in whatever the image is that we're trying to project to you. Does that make sense? You know, and we'll possibly take steps to make sure that we aren't shown up, that we don't get caught out, because we know we're bullshitting, but we don't want to prove that to anybody, so we'll avoid things. Like if I'm saying I can run really fast, I'm not going to take part in a race with people who can run really fast, because then you're going to see that I can't. But I'm only saying that I can because really I wish I could. And I know I can't. But I want to think that I can, and I want everybody else to think that I can. But if it's pointed out, if someone challenges me and says, why do you think you can run so fast? You can't run so fast. Bet you don't do it. Go and run fast now. It's so easy to break it down. It's so easy to shatter our dreams and our illusions and make us realize, oh, we can't run fast. And to show us up in front of everybody. And it is soul destroying. It is absolutely soul destroying. And it's... I wouldn't say like I beg you never to do it, because sometimes we do need taking down a peg or two. But don't do it lightly. And don't, you know, be prepared for any kind of reaction when you do it. Right? I know that I won't get shouty and crazy, but I'm not making that promise for somebody else. Not in the least. You know, everyone is narcissistic to a certain extent. Right? The way I try and illustrate the narcissism problem is with like the VU meter on my software here. So as I speak to you, the microphone level is going up and down, and there's a little readout that shows me it going up and down with my voice, and it's mainly in green, and sometimes it goes to yellow, and sometimes I get loud and it goes up into red, but mostly it's in that green area. We're all going in the green yellow, but it's never zero. Well, it is when I stop talking, but it's generally zero is bad. And what we want is it in that green area. And that represents narcissism for everybody. We're all in the green area. We all have some. We all have that self-confidence, that self-worth, that swagger, that self-belief, that knowledge that you can do things and accomplish things. We've all got mild narcissistic traits. But the difference between most people and NPD is we're the people who push that meter out of the green and into the yellow and even the red, right? And we don't just do it once or twice because, you know, even those of us who are mostly in the green tend to shout and get a bit loud and enthusiastic from time to time. We can all hit the red. But as long as we're mostly in the green, that's what most people's life is like. The people with NPD, we live in the yellow and the red. Okay? It is there all the time. It is distorting. Everything is too loud all of the time. That's where we live. And so, you know, when people say, I think to some extent I'm narcissistic. Yes, you are to some extent. We all are. We all start off incredibly narcissistic and self-centered because it's a survival technique because we're babies. And we need looking after. Look after me, protect me, feed me, do all of this for me. I will cry and you will come running. Right? That's baby survival. And you grow out of this as you get older. And the idea being that when you hit adulthood, you've grown out of all of it. Right? But unfortunately, for some of us, that just doesn't happen. That doesn't come to fruition. So we stay in the state of narcissism, like from childhood. Right? This pay attention to me, come when I yell. You know, look after me, feed me, clothe me, house me, all of this bullshit. We need that going forward because we've not learned to do it ourselves. You know? Hi, Stephen. How are you doing? Good evening. And so, you know, that's that's where the narcissism hits. But you feel like conditioning from an early age by narcissistic parents. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I get asked about narcissistic parents a lot, and it's difficult for me because I don't have one and I'm not one. So it's a difficult thing. But I would surmise, just guessing, that if you learn behavior from your parents, and if that behavior happens to be narcissistic, then that's what you learn, right? So that makes sense. Father asking, how can I tell if my partner is a narcissist? You can't, right? They can have, right? You don't need to diagnose your partner. There is no benefit to diagnosing your partner because even if they're a narcissist, you aren't fixing them, right? What you can do is look at how they treat you and decide whether that's the way you want to be treated. But you can't diagnose your partner. I can't diagnose your partner. We can look at it and say, hey, that's really narcissistic, that thing you did. Or whatever. But look, it took me 20 years plus to get to this thing. And we can't just... you don't know what they've got going on internally. You're speculating about viewed behavior. And unless you can look, I went through weeks of psychotherapy. Months, years of psychotherapy. And you can't just decide from observing somebody what they're going through without, deep analysis, that sort of thing. If they struggle with empathy, they might just struggle with empathy. That doesn't mean they've got narcissistic personality disorder. And even if they do struggle with empathy, you're talking about 1 marker out of 9, which is not a diagnosis for anybody at this point. So you have to be careful when you start trying to diagnose your partner. You really do. And I would say that you cannot do that. You shouldn't try to do that. It's a process of, look more at how your partner treats you, how they behave with you. And you need to talk to them about stuff they've got going on. If you've got a problem with stuff in your relationship, you need to have a conversation about it. Not try and diagnose them, because then what are you going to do? Are you then going to say, hey, honey, I think you've got NPD. I think you're a narcissist. You should get checked out. You can't, there's no path to that, right? And he can't see how cruel he is to you. It's a very difficult thing. And look, not understanding how he's abused you, that is, that can be part of this. But the question is, why are you allowing, you have to have boundaries about how you're prepared to be treated. If you're dealing with somebody with BPD, with NPD, with a cluster B personality disorder, with people with mental health difficulties, we hurt people, right? We don't mean to. We don't set out to do it necessarily, but we manage it. And if people are going to be around us, it's important that they have well-defined boundaries about what they are and are not prepared to put up with from us. And when we go too far, you need to make sure that you are protected from that, right? Because some of us are dangerous. Some of us are capable of some really fucked up shit. And you don't want to be there when that happens, right? And I am scared for everybody who comes to me and says, I'm being abused. I've been abused and I'm trying to get over that and be with this person. I don't think you can get over being abused by somebody. When we were talking earlier about, breaches of trust and that sort of thing, being abused is a breach of trust. It really is. It's not the same form as an infidelity, but it's a breach of trust, right? My partner trusts that I will not abuse her. She trusts that I am someone who will keep her safe, who will care about her welfare and her mental health and her well-being as much as she does. That's part of the trust. And if I were to not do that, that's as much of a breach of trust as cheating on her or stealing money or using a car or all of the, pick a thing, right? But that's what it is. And it sounds like, you're reaching a point where you need to say, look, this has gone too far. I need to leave. I need to go. I need to not be in this relationship anymore. Which is easier said than done, and it's a difficult choice to make. But, it's a difficult thing. And what we have to remember as well is that even if we love somebody who's suffering with this stuff, it's not our responsibility to get them well. It's not our responsibility to stick with them regardless of what they do. Right? We're individuals. And to be able, it's important to be able to say to somebody, you are hurting me too much. I need to go. I love you, but you're hurting me too much and I can't be here. And if you're saying you've got BPD as well, how are you going to get better? Right? You need to get better. You need to be in an environment where you can heal and be on your own healing journey. And that's so important. And, I went through a similar thing. I was living in an environment where I couldn't heal. And when I got out of that environment, I healed like crazy. And it's been there's still a long way to go, but this was never going to happen where I was. It just wasn't. I needed to be me and get out into my own space and be my own person and deal with me and not worry about how I was affecting somebody else. And so ask yourself some tough questions and give yourself some tough answers. Set some boundaries. Don't cross them. Don't go over that line. You need boundaries. It's good and right to have boundaries. And even when they kick off, because they do, people kick off when we set boundaries because we're saying no to them. Right? And people don't like being told no. They don't like being told, you can't use me in this way. You can't treat me in this way. Because they would like to. That's why they're doing it. And so when we put in that boundary and we say, no, not putting up with that, they fucking go nuts. And you have to say, fuck you. You like my boundaries. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to hurt me. And you're going, that's not acceptable. Well, that's not good. Somebody wanting to hurt you is not acceptable. And putting up with it and not having that boundary is equally not acceptable. And it's difficult. It's difficult because, and all of this assumes is a sort of all things being equal thing. I don't know how stuck you are or anything like that. It does suck. It does suck because we end up with people that we love that we can't fix, that we can't help, that as much as we love them, we are bad together. And we're only going to end up hurting each other. To this, look, when I left that last relationship, my last big relationship that I was in, I was distraught. I loved that person so much. And for a long time after leaving as well. I was just distraught. But the truth is, there was no way back to where we wanted to be from where we were. Because of those breaches of trust, because of those uncomfortable, difficult things. because there'd been no boundaries, and suddenly there needed to be boundaries and all kinds of things. And it's obviously more complicated than that, but there does come a time when you just have to say, I need to walk away. And realize, there's no one person for you. There's no love of your life as such. There's people, you know? And as you say, MP, healing is the most painful thing. But yeah, that's why we do it, right? That's why we do it. We know we're doing, right? It's hurting. We're dealing with shit. We're facing up to it. We're fighting our demons. And when you fight your demons, you get punched in the face a few times, right? And that's what we're doing. That's the pain we're going through, but we're healing. And Stephen, it sounds like you're not having a good time. But I love the way you're putting it. You're trying to heal. You will manage it, right? With FP stuff, with exes, with relationships. Honestly, time is massive. Time is a great healer, and time can't be rushed. Time comes as time comes, right? It's time. And you cannot make that go any quicker. You can't feel better about it soon. It will take as long as it takes. But you have to hold on and know. And you do know, right? You do know. And you'll wake up one day, there'll be a day where you start going through your usual routine of, oh, I miss her. Oh, things were so much better. Oh, I'm nothing without her. And you'll suddenly realize, what the hell am I saying? This is all utter bullshit. I'm more now used to being sad than I am missing the person. And then it goes from there. And then eventually you're not missing that person in that way at all anymore. That's life. That's life. As I'm learning, it's all a lot more temporary than I would like it to be. And yes, Vicky, the love of your life myth is bullshit. It is a myth. It is bullshit. It is Disney stuff. Right? It's bullshit. There's lots of people in the world you can like and get on with who like and fancy you. Really. Honestly. There's lots of people in the world. There's no one person. What a pressure to put on one person. Right? What a lot of weight to put in one relationship to say this person is everything. No. No, 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 no. That sounds, it either doesn't it sound romantic, but then actually completely and totally unhinged. And there you go, MP. I've had multiple loves of my life, each as painful as the last, and the majority have been fantasy. That's it. That sums it up for everyone, for all of us, and me. Yeah. Do you know how many times I've dated the love of my life? They've all been the love of my life. They've all been the one I was meant to spend the rest of my life with and have children and die holding her hand. They've all been that person. And either I've been wrong every time or nobody is that person. And I think it's a nobody is that person. I think we can love people. I think we can love all kinds of people for all kinds of reasons. And when we start to fill the hole with one person, there are inevitably gaps around the edges where things fall through. And that causes problems. You are going to be able to cope, Stephen. You are really going to be able to cope. I mean, my best advice is to just move on. Just move on, Stephen. No, that's no good. Right. Do things without that person in your mind. Do the things she hated. Listen to the music she hated. Watch the movies she didn't want to see. Go and hang out with those mates that did her head in. Go and find a new hobby to find with new people. Right? All this stuff. Get out there. Do some exercise. all this stuff, keeping you busy, doing stuff, living your life is essential. That's how you get over it. And the more you do that, I do think that is the one thing you might be able to try that could sort of speed things up a bit. But also be prepared for it to not speed anything up at all. You know? Where's the limit? You can't get along with just anyone. I can't get along with just anyone. Right? We have to find compatible people. But my point is that there are compatible people. There is not a compatible person. Right? There are people who think like us, mostly, who have our same attitudes, mostly. But if you're going to get into a relationship, think that if you're going to be looking for someone who is exactly like you or whatever, you're just setting yourself up for failure here. You know? Why would you do that to yourself? If you do need to make new friends, my advice is to just start doing stuff. Like find groups, communities, people who do hobbies together. Right? There's loads of stuff. You can go and find groups of people who do a thing you like and go and do that thing with them. And then you can even find groups of types of people who do a thing that you like. Right? So there's all sorts of stuff out there, but what it involves is going out into the world and interacting with people, which is difficult sometimes. And you have to be brave. And it can, it's hard. But that's annoyingly the way you do it. You know? You find it hard, Vicky's saying you find it hard to wear the boundaries to find the best possible match. Look, there are a couple of deal breakers on things. I think when it comes to you need somebody who laughs when you laugh. That sort of thing. But I think, once you're on the same page with things like religion, politics, a couple of other issues, it's all just details after that. Like I couldn't be in a relationship with someone who was an outspoken Tory. But the rest is like, or who thought Mark Wahlberg was an amazing actor, for example. That's recently come up. But it's a we're not all 100% compatible. You just have to get your head around that, right? And as long as somebody treats you well, how you want to be treated, and you treat them how they want to be treated. If you see somebody and it makes you smile, or it makes you excited or horny or whatever, right? When it's somebody you want to be with, and as long as they're not hurting you, go out into the world, explore, have fun, have multiple relationships. Don't get into every relationship thinking, this is the one I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Get into a relationship thinking, I'm going to spend some time with this person now. And see where it goes. But there are people out there. There are so many people out there in the world. That is so totally a thing. But yeah, I think MP's right. Once you start doing things, go do stuff and be kind to yourself. You've got it exactly right, Stephen. And it's easier said than done. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, well, just do that. Now, go on. It's not that easy. It's hard. But you can do it. You can absolutely do it. So many people go and do it. And you can go and do it too. Good evening to us and have a great night. It was great to have you on the show. Here with us. It's been a fun one tonight so far. What time are we on? But I'm going to wrap it up right there. You guys have all been amazing. Please make sure that you subscribed and updates are turned on and alerts are turned on and all of that. If you want to go and book a one-to-one session with me, we can talk through some stuff. Everything's available on earlymorningbarking.com. I've done it, like I said, I've done a one-to-one recently. I'm enjoying these. These are good. These are good. And so we go and do a Google Meet. We talk for an hour about your problems. You get a space where you can just let it all out. You know, so go and check it out. There's links to everything on earlymorningbarking.com. You'll also find links to my Patreon with extra videos and my ASMR stuff, and also all the memberships I hear on YouTube and everywhere else. Okay, so you lot take great care. You've been an absolutely fantastic audience. I love you to bits. And I will speak to you again soon. Follow me on Twitter for more stuff. All of that, honestly. Just you know. So many places to follow. Go and sign up for things.